all understand that Bailey Smith and Max Holmes are in career best form at the moment. But the thing that makes this Geelong team so dangerous this year is still their forward line. Let's have a look at why. In today's footy, we're really starting to understand that defence comes from the forward line first. And there's no better example than what the Geelong forward line does defensively. So we're going to start there and then we'll move into how they're just dominating when the ball is in their hands. Straight away at the start of the game, Essendon get a kick in. But look at the work that the Geelong forward line does to turn this into a spilled ball and a stoppage. Straight out of the kick in, we go even numbers at every single Essendon player, except for the player in the low pocket here, because Geelong want you to take this kick. Because if you can take this kick, they're going to block the centre, and at worst, you're going to have to kick long up the line. But if you take the centre kick here like Nick Martin does, because you've already got players man on man through the middle of the ground, you're going to get results like this where you're putting players under pressure and instantly they swarm. You've got a 2-on-1 on the floor, Geelong versus Essendon, and you get a stoppage in your forward 50 straight away. That is brilliant defense from your forward line players. And the beauty of creating that stoppage and putting that pressure on is not just the fact that it allows you another shot at goal, it allows your defensive system to set up behind the ball. So even though Essendon get a free kick out of that stoppage, look who's already set up. The Geelong defensive system is already set up, so Essendon don't have a viable option to go out of the back line quickly. It puts one of their debutants this year under pressure. He has to take a kick that he probably doesn't want to take. Instantly, he's out of position. Ollie Dempsey is a great one-on-one player. Straight away, just from that 30 seconds of football, we understand how good Geelong are defensively. But this is what makes them different. This is what makes them so dangerous. Ollie Dempsey's got the ball about 75 metres out. How many times do we see AFL clubs bomb the ball to the top of the square? But look at what he does. This is a beautiful kick. Lowers the eyes. Brad Close has cleared this space by leading back towards goal. It allows Manor to come up to the footy all by himself. Dempsey lowers the eyes. You get a shot on goal. You go from defence to offence beautifully. Again here, we're going to get a front half turnover from Geelong. But this isn't about the front half turnover. This is about the way that their forward line works. So Humphries is going to get the footy here. We wonder so often why Ollie Dempsey kicks so many goals. Look at the work rate. His defensive winger is 10 to 50 metres behind him. You could easily kick to him. But the selflessness of Brad Close going over to block for Jeremy Cameron here. Laverne's yelling at Roberts to get over. He's never going to get there. It's a beautiful kick. You get another easy shot on goal. That is the way that the Geelong forward line system just dominates you. Less than a minute later, let's look at the defensive setup here. So we got Manor, we got Close, we got Stengel. Look at the work rate from Stengel and Close and then Myers eventually to get to this footy. So Stengel puts the pressure on Pryor to kick the footy long. Watch the effort. We just saw Close. This is a 100-metre effort just to put pressure on this kick here. And because they work so hard, they're so far up the ground defensively that you get things like this. So we saw Stengel was the initial pressure. Now, because he's made that effort, he's already in position to defend. So they win on two levels. Because they push up high defensively, they're able to create front half turnovers. But because they're in those positions, when they create those turnovers, they have so many numbers that they can run in waves and they get delivery inside forward 50 like this, where they get one out forwards and Jaden Laverde sitting there going, what am I supposed to do? And honestly, mate, I agree with you. You can't do anything. So obviously their forwards' ability to go from defense to offense is pretty much unmatched in the league. But they don't just beat you there. They also just beat you at ground level like good small forwards do. So Close, Stengel and Manor, their defenders are all goal side of them. But look at how quickly that changes. We get a contest in the forward 50 from Neil, and instantly, Close is goal side, Stengel is goal side, and Manor is goal side of their opponent, crumbing at ground level. That is beautiful small forward play. They go from defensive side to goal side like that. We've seen their forward line beat you defensively. We've seen them beat you at ground level. Now they're starting to beat you in the air because of the rise of Shannon Neal. Bailey Smith's got the ball here. Again, how many times do we see this kick just kicked on the top of the goal square, on top of your forward's head? What Geelong do really well is open this space up. So Myers is getting out of the way. Stengel's out of the way. Manor's leading his man out of the way. Smith knows that this is where the forwards want it. So this is where he's going to kick it. As soon as Smith cuts towards the middle of the ground, Jezza knows that he's not going to get the footy. All he's doing is sealing his man from being able to go third up. As soon as the ball comes in now, it's a beautiful kick. It's a beautiful left foot kick from Bailey Smith here. But it is in the perfect position. It is exactly where that space was. And although it looks like Essendon have good representation here, because the kick is so good and the lead is so good from Neil, you're never going to be able to stop that in the air. It's a beautiful kick, but the forward setup is what creates that space. And that's just something that we don't see enough of nowadays. Coming out of D50, and look, Myers is here, Manor is here, and look who is the next target here, Stengel. So all of your small forwards are so far high up the ground, and this is exactly why. Because you get things like this. So Stengel wins this contest, which is a great one-on-one contest win. When you pull all of your forwards up, you allow one-on-ones pretty much everywhere. So now you've got Neil in a one-on-one here, and then further up the ground, you've got Jezza in a one-on-one, and most importantly, Danger in a one-on-one. Danger gets the clean pickup, gives it to Jezza. Jezza kicks a goal. Let's look at it from behind the goals. Because you pulled your small forwards all the way up to here, Neil gets a one-on-one, Jezza gets a one-on-one, and most importantly, Dangerfield gets a one-on-one. But look at all of the space you create because they pull their forwards so high up the ground. So often see the Geelong forwards on a lead in space that looks really hard to defend. This is exactly why. It's because of their forward line setup that they get things like this. Now, if this is a better kick from Shannon Neal, we're going to see the exact same thing because Danger's going to beat his man here. The kick's poor, but even though it's poor, it's in front of him and forwards are constantly running towards goal, not away from goal like Danger is here. So Danger's the only forward here running away from goal. All of the rest of them are running towards goal. You just beat them in waves, you beat them in numbers. Jezza gets a free kick at the footy. Bang. So we're mixing system with just genuine talent in the forward line with Jezza, with Stengel, with Myers, with Close, with Danger, and now the rise of Shannon Neal. You've got a pretty much unstoppable forward line.